He did really wear a wild pair of glasses, and that mustache was really quite something. But perhaps it came with maturity, and then he went to the contacts and that type of thing. I'm going to say early 2000s, 2002 perhaps, 2003, somewhere in.
This government's failure to seek full intervener status into the RCAF-sponsored injunction. Throughout this time, the Liberal government has failed to show the leadership required to get the border open and have failed to use all the tools available to them. Having this issue end up in the court system in the United States is the worst possible scenario.
We did have hopes that this might be the time we were going to form government. Didn't happen, but we now have a minority parliament.
And this minority government, I think, is wonderful. What a different atmosphere that we're facing, Bob.
Isn't it ever?
And this is the first time.
Tremendous loyalty within the party, and I attribute that loyalty among MPs and even down to the constituency level to the leadership of Stephen Harper.
Stephen trying to develop more of a profile, and can we expect him here soon?
Hopefully it's on his agenda in the not too distant future.
Stephen Harper was actually coming for a barbecue to help support Rick in his efforts to get the border reopened.
We found out that Harper was coming. So we had a really exciting time in there. I think we fed probably 400 people that day. And Rick and Stephen were there right until the end.
We talk about a universal child care payment to every Canadian family. They talk about throwing money at healthcare, preserving the system. We talk about actually getting results for patients. They talk about the democratic deficit, and they just keep making it bigger.
You know, if anybody wanted to see them or talk to either one of them, they were right there and available the whole time. And that was a fun time as well.
It actually ended up becoming a celebration because that weekend it was announced that they were going to reopen the border.
Oh, that was a big day. It takes your inventory from 80 cents, or 70 cents to $1 a pound, which the market was. The significance on your financial statements is way more relevant than the optics of that truck crossing the border. But it's all in the same discussion, and it was a big day for Canadian producers.
I don't know that you remember the time that I came to visit you in Ottawa and wandering around the halls of the office building that you were in there, and finally found your office.
For a while I was going on an annual basis, basically for conference meetings and to meet with staffers on the Hills.
Rick had a change of offices, going from kind of a dungy place to a very, very beautiful corner office overlooking the Supreme Court.
Quite impressed, I'll tell you.
Pam has been there my entire duration, working with Rick.
When I started in your office, I didn't know much about politics, but I learned a lot working with you and watching you. It was exciting to see your hard work pay off.
So that was invaluable for us to have that opportunity to go and visit and meet people on the Hill, and then you had a working relationship with them on a day-to-day basis.
And learning the ins and outs of Ottawa was always informative and entertaining.
Of course, the information that we learned there is very valuable, but it was actually the networking and the connections that we made with the different staff members in Ottawa and in the riding offices.
Actually have quite an array of friends, colleagues that became friends.
I do research in Ottawa. I have visited Rick on the Hill. I've seen him interact with his colleagues in the lobby of the House of Commons. And it's interesting to see the respect with which they treat him.
And every time that I mentioned Rick's name, they just really just praised the man that he was and the work that he did and how respected he was.
We were able to sit in on question period. We were sitting over top of the Liberals.
And I must say that if the opposition would stop its filibustering, its obstructionism, the fact is we could see it pass.
Mr. Speaker, the difference is this, that parents so far haven't seen anything from this government, from this party. They would have seen something by now.
Parents and provinces want to have a choice.
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, I didn't hear the question through the piece.
So I'm sorry, I didn't hear what the question was.
The honourable member for Edmonton Spruce Grove.
Can he get away with that?
Of course, at least in the we could voice our displeasure or agreement, whereas in the House, of course, you have to keep silent.
I watched you complete the tiring commute from Ottawa to Alberta week by week because you were committed to your family, and you also knew it was important to keep in touch with those who you were representing.
I don't think that people realize the undertaking and the commitment that what it is to get on that damn plane every week and fly to Ottawa and fly home. I don't know how you done it.